Hi, welcome to our podcast. We've been trying to get on and record. This is episode two. Uh, Two of our brothers weren't able to make it, Tanner and Chad. Tanner's got a migraine and Chad's been feeling sick. But since it's been a while since we've been able to get on, we want to get on and record something real quick. And so, yeah, Kyle wanted to share some stuff that he's been experiencing with his son.
Yeah, so this is kind of a repeat since we've been having a conversation for the last hour or so. I decided to record this. Um, but yeah, had
You
an
don't have to
experience with
let them
my
know about what's going on in the
son.
background, Kyle.
Little peek behind the
Golly.
curtain.
Are you saying you rehearse these? That there's preparation? Go ahead.
It's obviously not obvious that there's preparation, but yes, there's a little bit of thought sometimes that goes into these.
Actually, there was an hour and 15 minutes of thought.
Little.
Anyways, continue. We're back.
So, we thought it'd be fun to talk about some parenting mishaps and experiences, uh, and kind of helps us get together with the brothers and think through our own experiences as kids from the kids' point of view, uh, to hopefully help us understand a little bit our kids as we're dealing with their crap. So my son probably totaled his car this weekend. Um, Honestly, I should send you guys the picture of the frame. Um, he doesn't even remember hitting the back wheel. The front wheel was all jacked up, but the back wheel, the where the suspension arm goes into the frame, the bolt that's in the frame ripped through the frame like steel frame, like moved
He was moving.
a hole
Yeah,
like that
he
big.
hit
The
that curve
mechanic was
pretty
like,
hard.
yeah, and he doesn't even remember hitting the back at all. He's like, no, we just hit the front. I'm like, well, you obviously hit the back too because that happened. Um, so the mechanic was pretty impressed. Um, so, anyways, um, yeah, my son is without a car, and it was a weekend. He was supposed to be going down to St. George with his friends. We live up in Salt Lake, so about 4 hours south. He was going to road trip down with some friends and stay for the long weekend. Um, and obviously, his mom and I were pretty pissed. It wasn't an accident like some kind of fluky thing. He was doing something stupid to make it happen. So we were mad about that. And
What was he? He was drifting
yeah, yeah, he was trying to drift his
in the
all-wheel
church
drive
park.
Audi in a church parking lot, and there was some rain, so it was wet. Um, and so he was driving w- west on the far side of the parking lot and cranked the wheel and flipped around and then slid into, now pointing east-ish, slid into the curb on the other side of the parking lot, um, and yeah, blew out the front wheel, and yeah. Anyways, the damage could be anywhere from like $3,000 to $4,000 to 7 to 10. Kind of depends. The mechanics gotta dig into some stuff.
That's Utah prices, and because I backed into a pole just recently. Super annoyed at myself for this. But yeah, just it's going to be I think $12,000 to fix my truck.
I think some of it's also the car. Ours is a
Right.
2014 Audi. Yours is a Rivian.
Uh, yeah, it is 2023.
So that
I was
makes
going like maybe 3, 4 miles an hour because I was just backing
Morrison
out of
says he
a.
was only going like 5 miles an hour. He's like, we weren't going that fast. I'm like,
You
I
can't
don't,
drift
I
while
don't know.
going 5 miles an hour.
Yeah.
I was just barely turning the wheel. I don't know what happened. I
No,
was
he
just
definitely
barely
said he
turning.
cranked it. But he's like, but we weren't.
But I was
And I
going
think he's saying
five
like
ten.
Did he
when they
pull
were
the e-brake?
sliding, they weren't. No,
No? Okay.
Oh, when they were sliding,
when they were
he said when
sliding and
they
he
actually
hit,
made contact, it wasn't
yeah,
like they
we
were
weren't
like
moving
by
that
then it had
fast.
slowed down.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But no matter how hard you hit something when it's not built to go that direction or take an impact from that, um, yeah, that can cause issues.
It's a lot of weight moving in a direction it's not supposed to be moving and hitting something that isn't meant to be hit.
Obviously, the the three of us, have never done anything irresponsible as kids in a
Well,
car. Do we want to get into that, or do we want to get into the how to parent it?
so the tow truck lady kept saying that. She's like, "Ah, yeah, we were all kids once." And I'm going, "Yeah, but stop it!" Like, I didn't do that. Like,
You
all
could
this,
have
You
the
though.
didn't
stuff
do
that I
anything
did
that,
that caused the damage. I never totaled a vehicle, and that is honest.
yeah,
That is true.
that is.
Um, and I never tried drifting a car just on water, like donuts in the
Yeah, that was
15
snow,
passenger van in the church parking lot in snow. That was different, and it was a much bigger parking lot.
and it was a
There was
much
plenty.
bigger vehicle.
It was a much bigger vehicle. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
And
I don't know
then,
if you
like,
remember. Oh, go ahead.
no, you go ahead.
Oh, I don't know if you remember um, the time that I drifted the van. Our 15 passenger van was fantastic. 3500 Chevy Express V8. That thing was awesome.
The
We
beast.
had it for, it was the beast. We had it for how many years? It went like how many miles? 250,000 miles or something on it by the
It's what I
time
learned to drive
they,
on.
that's what I learned to drive on as well. Like driving as at 5'2" when I got my driver's license, driving down the freeway in a 15 passenger van, people were just like, there's a child driving a bus. But I remember when we moved to Colorado, I was, and I just told dad this recently that I had done it on purpose. There, like coming up our street, I was going around a turn and we turn and go up a slight uphill, to our house, and I I turned, and then I was like, oh, there's a little turn. I'm just gonna give a little, and
I
I
remember this.
I gave it a little too much and sent the car sideways, and I'm just like sliding sideways, and I'm like turning the wheel like the way you're supposed to, but I'm just sliding up the street. And it was the first time ever, like we had people over or something, but everyone was in the front room of our house. And there's this
I was
big window.
watching through the front window, and I was like, Jason's sliding sideways up the street, and your face was just like,
I'm just like, oh, and I look over, and it was like there was enough time as I was sliding up for people to run out. Like dad ran out on the patio, and he's just like looking at me like, what do you do? And I'm just like looking at making eye contact with him, like, I don't know what, I don't know. So I'm like sliding, and then like it wasn't crazy, like it wasn't like a situation where I like I basically just slid, and then luckily, because I'm a really amazing driver, I was kind of sliding and had turned the wheels to go up, but I was starting to like drift over towards the curb, and most of the curbs are rounded, meant for snowy areas, so you can just slide up onto it. It's not a big deal. But where I ended up going up on the curb was a drain, and so I turned the wheel like at the last second as I was about to
so you
hit
were
it, and I
straight when
turned
you
the
were up
wheel and
onto
just straight. I was squared, went up onto, slid into the
into
neighbor's
the
lawn, and then
neighbor's yard.
stopped.
Yeah.
Yeah, not like just the front wheels. I mean, no big deal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, got in, and then I was like, and then I, backed up or whatever, or dad came. I can't remember if dad came over and he took it and parked, but I just told him that I had done it kind of on purpose, like like seriously, like maybe a month or two ago. Um, so that was a fun one, but
See,
yeah.
I never drifted the van on purpose, but where I was driving was a lot of really windy roads up in Georgetown area. And there was a time going down to the uh, taking van full of bunch of teenage kids going down to a church dance and going a little bit too fast around those turns where we we were going sideways down, like going around some of those turns. I'm like, ooh, yeah. And other times,
Did it happen once?
well, that happened once full. There was another time where I was on, I could feel it like almost roll. Like I was on two wheels for a second there, and then we like settled
Oh.
back down. Um, just because I was an idiot teenage kid driving too fast on these windy roads and having a bit of fun. Um,
Those windy roads, I remember so many times being like coming up Salmon Falls Road from down in Folsom and stuff,
Salmon
and
Falls
not
is fun to
remembering
drive.
how I got home. Like, we're coming home at 2 or 3 in the morning and get home and be like, I I don't remember Salmon Falls at all. Like I was falling asleep kind of thing. And that reminds me though, do you remember that time, Jason, when I was so tired and I had so I had Jason, we switched drivers. I was like, dude, I'm falling asleep. I need you to drive.
Like a number of times we were both tired, so we kept switching. But yeah, you were like, "Hey, I got to do it." So we had gotten it, to a point, and I switched, and I drove the rest of the way home. Go ahead, Kyle.
So
What is your memory?
so I'm sleeping. I'm like laid back in the chair sleeping, and I'm dreaming that I'm still driving. And then Jason turns, a 90-degree right into our driveway. And in my dream, in my head, I just turned ourselves off the road, like off a cliff. And I start flailing, like trying to grab at the wheel. and and Jason's going, Kyle, and I'm like, I'm trying to get back in control of the car that's falling off a cliff, and then finally he like puts his hand on me, and I wake up, and he's like freaked out because all of a sudden, like he's just driving normal, and I'm over here going
He
in the
he
passenger
full on
seat.
so because he was laid back too, he was reaching for the steering wheel and his eyes were like rolled back in his head. Like he was like trying to open his eyes like like reaching and also like stomping his feet, like trying to
Yeah,
like hit the
stop the
brakes.
car.
And all I had done was just like I had just turned, I had just turned into. So it was like he shifted a little bit, and then like he starts freaking out. I'm like Kyle. So like the Kyle is him thinking like Jason's yelling at me because I just drove off a cliff, and I was just sitting there just like, dude, you're fine, you're fine. And he just kind of like came to like, oh, okay, okay. And then like, we drove up in, but I just, yeah, that was a, that was a pretty funny one. We had a few situations like that with, do you remember, we drove with Travis, we were driving to Utah when Travis was in the truck, and
Yeah.
Kyle and I could drive, but Travis couldn't. He didn't have his license yet, and he's sitting in the back of the back side seat of the Mazda truck that we had. Kyle and I just kept falling asleep. Like we just kept, like we could not stay. we have like a 15-minute period of driving and be
If
like,
that.
hey, your turn, like it's your turn. And I was like, bro, I just got here, like, and we would fall asleep instantly, and then we'd get switched over, and Travis is sitting in the back seat the whole time, just like, like white knuckled, like terrified because he's like looking up, and it's just like we have the dad. Did you guys ever drive with dad when he was falling asleep?
Yeah.
Obviously, we
Oh,
all did. But it was like the his head would drop back and his mouth would his chin would stay at the same level, and it would just be like, and he'd be like looking out the bottom of his eyes,
yeah.
and then you look up, you're like, Dad. He's like, oh, I'm fine. I'm like, I'm not. I'm fine. I'm fine. And you're like, Dad, you were like this. Like full on asleep. And I just remember sitting in shock and just like staring over at him like,
Yeah. Well,
Dad?
because
Dad?
dad had a couple of, I think he took out a call box on the freeway once because he fell asleep. And then he drove into the side of the mountain on Ortega Highway, which good thing he hit the mountainside and didn't
The
go off
mountainside.
the non-mountain
Yeah.
side. Um,
I
so
remember driving from Colorado to Utah and he like I'm sitting there like cruising and we're coming up on like a split like we were gonna go right and the freeway, continued on. So it was like an off ramp or connecting ramp or whatever. And I remember us heading straight to the divider. And I'm like, Dad, and he's like, "Ah," and like swerved like last minute and just like got straight and was like, oh, um, wait, I might remember that wrong. I think I was driving. I was driving and I swerved and the
I don't
adrenaline was
have a
going.
brother. I
I don't know if this is again, we were talking about this in the conversation earlier. I don't know if I remember things correctly or if like our memories obviously are just kind of created like every time we tell a story it connects to the last time. Anyways, we create new memories when we with memories. Anyways, I so it could have been that I was driving and I might be mixing stories right now, but I remember like from that point on, the adrenaline was going so hard from almost dying that I didn't have a problem like falling asleep. I was just like, okay, I'm fine.
well, I used to really struggle falling asleep driving or like getting really drowsy driving. And then there was one time when Sandra and I were down in LA selling and we were gonna drive down
Drugs.
from yeah, yeah, no. Yeah, when we did summer sales for the alarms.
Hmm.
Yes.
Security. Yeah, security system.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Other time.
Yeah. I
Different time of
never
life.
have sold drugs.
Let's
Um,
make clear, Kyle has never been a drug dealer.
so anyways, we were driving down from Chatsworth down to Murrieta to visit her brother Jorge. And we were in the carpool lane and I was feeling really drowsy and pretty sure I hit the center median. I hit I hit something, but then there was no damage, but there was a very loud bang and my eyes opened up and I got back onto into the middle of the lane and Sandra was freaked out. Ever since then, I've been a lot better. Like I don't struggle like I used to um, with getting that drowsy when I'm driving. Every once in a while, I get a little bit, but not like it used to be. Um, but yeah, um, I
Yeah,
mean,
for
we
me,
could
it's driving at night. Like
even
like if I
yeah,
and it's driving like into like I've been up all day because I usually get up at like 5:30. If if I'm even I'll go to work early or I'll get up and go surfing, and so I'm up early. And so by the time it's like getting dark, like I'm already really tired. I'm definitely a morning person. I like waking up early. I get kind of grumpy at night and I'm not as on. But I was driving like every time we're driving home from like my brother-in-law's in or sister-in-law in Huntington Beach. I'm just like straining. I'm like slapping myself in the face and doing all this stupid things. And Amber's just like looking at me like, "Are you okay? You're gonna be okay?" I'm talking to her. I'm like, I'm my eyes just want to go, want to close. I can wake up at 2 a.m. and get on the road, and I'm fine driving. Like I have no problem getting up. Usually with the kids when we go for a road trip, if we're driving to Utah or Sacramento, we'll leave at 3:30 in the morning so
Yeah.
I can get through LA before all the traffic hits. And the kids are also sleeping for the majority, and Amber's sleeping the majority. And I can just be like, all right, I'm in peace, like listening to a podcast, and I can just cruise up. Um, but yeah, we were talking earlier though about the discipline part of
Yeah, because I mean, we have so many car stories we could probably share, and I'm sure we will in other episodes. But yeah, the what triggered this recording was talking about how to be a parent and how doesn't come with an instruction manual. So with Morrison, he was going to be going to down to St. George with his friends over the weekend. He was supposed to drive, and obviously with the car being out of commission, he couldn't drive anymore. So then he was making other arrangements with his friends, trying to get somebody else would drive, and they would all ride down together. And initially, we were saying, we were pissed that he did what he did, and we were like, nope, you're grounded. You can't go this weekend, and blah blah blah. And he was, it was a fight. Kids have different personalities too, because Morrison will fight it. He will argue, which is how I was as a kid. Delilah will just shut down. She'll just like walk away, maybe stomp away, crying or whatever, and go to a room and like not talk. I don't know how to deal with that. I can deal with arguing, um, because my logic is so much better. but
And
but I
that's
don't
how
know how
you
to.
win arguments by logically having the right answer. This is truth, logically, and you should just accept what I say because it's logical.
No,
That
seriously, when
always
I can
works
sit down
every
with
time
him
I've had
and
those
be
Always.
like,
conversations.
you are using this logical fallacy right now. He's like, I don't even know what that means. I'm like, well, let me tell
That
you.
works really well also talking to your spouse
Oh yeah, no, that's
anytime. If you ever
way
want
worse
some marriage
talking about.
advice, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
go ahead.
Um. Anyway, so we ended up. Sandra and I were talking about it as we were going to go run some errands or something. I don't remember where. Um. And then we actually had to turn around to come back because she forgot her phone. And as we were talking, though, I was like, there are natural consequences. The natural consequence of his accident is that he's not going to have a car for a while. He's going to have to get rides with friends to places. He's not going to be able to go out as easy as he did before, until he can save up and replace the car. And so, are we imposing additional consequences as punishment? And I always like to think that um, punishments should be, you're trying to teach a lesson, right? And can they learn the lesson with the natural consequences, or do I have to impose additional consequences to help them learn the lesson? And I do not have the answer to that all the time. Um, it is a struggle between Sandra and I because I do feel like sometimes she's quicker to impose, and then I have to back her up. Like I can't. She gets really mad at me because she feels like I undermine her on those things all the time. But I'm kind of like, it's hard. It's a hard balance to strike.
I mean, from the
Agreed.
relationship standpoint of undermining. Jared, I've talked more. You were going to say something. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, agreed. Sometimes Aaron will name a consequence that I just think, I don't think we're really going to follow through with that. Like, maybe before name a punishment, you should think about, like, are we going to follow through with this? And a lot of times we don't, and I wonder how that undermines our ability to properly
That is,
discipline and parent.
yeah,
Um,
that is a
yeah.
huge issue with us
But I
as
was
well.
also
And
thinking about um so about 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, Aaron totaled a car.
And what did you do
Obviously,
to punish her?
what was your punishment?
exactly. I'm
What was your
not going to
punishment for?
punish her, but she felt the need to punish herself. When we're going car shopping, I'm going, hey, let's get this car that you actually want. And she would tell me, no, I don't deserve that because I
No, no.
did this bad thing.
Bad Newt. Bad Newt. Bad Newt.
And
Spanking.
and so
That
you
is a
wonder how that
line
gets
from Monty
ingrained.
Python Holy Grail. Sorry.
Yes, I'm aware. Um,
I'm just doing this for
but
our massive audience of people that might not be aware that I
of
just threw
course.
out Bad Newt. Bad Newt. Go ahead.
The
Well, and
spanking one is also from Monty Python.
I wonder
Continuation of the scene.
what we're teaching about the purpose of punishment and the need for punishment when like stuff happens and not you don't need to punish yourself or and sometimes you really want to punish your child, but the punishment's already there. The experience
Well,
itself.
and I think society wide, right? Like the justice system, is it about punishment or is it about, you know, teaching lessons and rehabilitation and things like that? And so I have very idealistic ideas on that, and yet when it's like my family and my child, I'm like, no. But then I also I mentioned this, Sandra. I mean, obviously our parents were, when they set a punishment, there was plenty of follow through. I mean,
They were
how
good at
many
that.
stories, uh leaving the milk out? And so when I left the milk out one Sunday morning after getting my bowl of cereal, and my dad was, and my dad and dad was pissed about me leaving the milk out, so he pours a big glass and
It
sets
wasn't
it
the
on the.
first time you had left it out. It was something that we all did often enough that it was like he had had it.
So yeah, so he snapped and got his thin lips.
Lips. Yeah.
um and who was it? And oh well, that one was me. So he pours that big old glass and sets it out in the windowsill on like 110-degree summer day in Lake Elsinore, and then all day it's out there curdling. And then when we sit down for dinner, he brings the glass of milk and says, drink it. And I was like, what? Yeah. And I had to drink it.
Did you ever leave the milk out again?
I'm sure I did. I'm sure I
Right.
did. But it's a pet
I
peeve of
don't
mine
think
as
I
well.
did. I was definitely
I mean,
afraid
not
of.
often. I mean, it's a pet peeve of mine. Like when the milk's left out, and I will go get myself a glass of milk now, and I'll take a sip and be like, "Who left the milk out?" Like I
Ugh.
know if the milk was left out, even if it's been back in the fridge for a long time, because it's not the same. It's not bad, but it's warm.
Yeah.
I can tell.
Yeah.
I
Um,
think everybody knows, Kyle. I don't think you have some special like
right.
intuition of like I can
My family
tell. I don't know
doesn't.
if you guys knew this. I
And
can
that's how my
sense
dad gave me
temperature.
superpowers.
No, but I feel like my family's like, how can you even tell? I'm like, what are you talking about? But
It's
then
like
there's,
the people that say there's no difference between Coke and Diet Coke.
yeah,
Anyways, go
no,
ahead.
definitely getting grounded from my own birthday party, you know, getting
What
grounded
year was
from,
that?
I think 12 or 13.
Yeah. Not only did we get grounded from your birthday party and that like, oh, you couldn't go or whatever, like, or we just canceled the birthday party. We
No, no,
had the kids all came over to our house, our friends, because you and I had a lot of we had the same friends. Our friends came over and we were both grounded. I'm going like this because you're next to me in the thing, but it doesn't, yeah, anyways. We were both grounded. And so we went up to our room and we had to sit in the bedroom and we could hear them downstairs playing games and
well, that was the
having
thing.
fun.
Yeah. So mom and dad were like, we didn't do our chores that day. And they were like, you know what? It's too late to cancel the birthday party. All your friends are coming here soon, and we don't want to cancel it on them. So we're going to have the party, but you're going to be upstairs. And so then you and I were upstairs and they're playing games and, hanging out with our parents. I don't know, like and then we were allowed to go down so I could open up the presents and say thank you and then leave the presents and go back up to our
I think
our
there was
room.
pizza or something too. Like we could bring, like they brought food up. Like
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
we
They
ate.
slid it under the door like the
Yeah,
prison,
it's just like, here's your slop.
Here's dry toast and water,
Yeah.
or
Pizza.
warm milk. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. So, and then the time that I was grounded from the family trip, snowboarding trip up in Northern California. Do you guys remember that? I had to stay at Grandma Leela's. I think Tanner and I had to
Tanner
stay
was
at Grandma
grounded from
Leela's.
that as well.
Yeah, yeah. So Tanner and I stayed at Grandma Leela's, and the whole family went snowboarding. And
I wasn't there at the time. I can't remember. How old were you?
Mm,
I was in high school
Okay. Like I'm
because
trying
I
to
hadn't done
remember
my
like
like my
I don't
AP
see why
English
you wouldn't
homework or
have
something.
been there,
I'm
Jason.
pretty sure you were there,
yeah.
Jason.
Oh, okay. I might have been there. I don't remember that, but go ahead.
So, if you're talking to mom, her biggest parenting regrets are some of those holding to punishments. Um, oh, there were others that were like that. She goes, but
You
I
were
look
grounded
back
for
on
a
them.
month
Well, yeah,
after
I was.
being home. We got home. You had been home like late a few times, and then they're
No,
like,
no, no,
you
no,
cannot
no. It was. I was supposed to be home at like eight
at
o'clock
midnight.
or six. No,
Oh,
no. Like I think it
oh.
was 6 o'clock to go with dad to help him on a job, and it was 6 o'clock because we got home. We didn't even get home that late, like per se. We got home at like 10 o'clock, but it was 4 hours later than we were supposed to be home, and dad couldn't go on the job because he needed me to go with him. This is obviously before cell phones and stuff. So I just, so yeah, I got grounded for a month from that. And then the weekend that I got off, my curfew was midnight. And I go out and came back at like 12:05 and got grounded for the next week. And then the next week when I was off, I came back at like 12:02 and was grounded for another week. I was grounded every other week that entire summer. So again, imposing, did I really learn the lesson? Like, I don't know. It was, I curfew is something, and Sandra and I have talked about this. That's one that I struggle with, imposing a curfew, like a strict curfew, because I hated it. as a kid. I fought about it all the time as a kid. And so I don't, it's not something that I care to impose that strictly. But Sandra does. And so that's the one that we
Do you
struggle with.
have a, are you able to go to sleep pretty well when your kids are gone?
Yeah, I do fine. Sandra doesn't as well. And Sandra has a lot more anxiety around the kids being out and stuff than I do. So I get where she's coming from. Like I just, but it's yeah, hard for me.
I'm the same. I'm usually more lenient with Jackson as long as it's communicated ahead of time, like, hey, this is what you want. And then even if he calls and he's like, hey, a few people are going, we're going to stay out a little bit long. Is it okay if I stay a little bit longer? And I'm usually a lot more open to it because then I'll just go, all right, cool. When you get home, come and go to bed. I don't I don't stay awake. I fall asleep. I mean, I fell asleep this afternoon on the couch, like, and his friends came over apparently, and I was just like asleep on the couch. And I was like, how long was your friend here with his girlfriend that I was just laying on the couch asleep, having a nap? Like, this is kind of weird. Anyways, like I just fall asleep. But Amber does have like she's like super anxious. About when the kids are gone, and we talked about consequences earlier, just like how to make sure that the consequence matches, or like they'll say a consequence like Jared's like, that's not, we're not going to be able to do that. Early on in like within the soccer time, like when our kids were playing club soccer early, Amber throughout, you don't get to go to soccer. And I was like, let's pump the brakes here. One, uh, that is a commitment that he made to the team, that we all made to the team. And it's not fair that
To the
we
team.
punish the whole team for that. Number two is like, I really like watching my kids play. So like, I'm not wanting to get punished for this. So like, let's try to find something that like, maybe like we'll make them do something that I don't like to do. Like maybe we'll have them clean toilets, like let's do something that is like a consequence like that instead of like something that takes away from my fun.
It's
Yeah.
like
No,
we want to
Sandra's
take
go-to
away
punishment.
screens, but I also don't want to deal with you. So like,
No, Sandra's go-to is like immediately just turns off, because she's got control of their screen time and stuff. We'll just like turn it off. And then they're just, yelling from the bedroom, like, "What?" And I'm like, oh my gosh, again, like, I don't want to
who are
know.
we punishing here? Are you punishing me?
Yeah. How have you guys done? Like, I find that, I mean, obviously we're all addicted to our cell phones, and it's a big problem, but like you know I'm on it way too much. Like, if I show up and I'm like, let's turn off the TV or turn, like, get the iPad or something, the tantrums that exist, like the emotional, like the addictive, like, personality, like, Owen is the sweetest kid on the planet, and he's just a genuinely like great kid, and he's like always giving hugs. He's super sweet. But like, if like he he just wants to be on that phone, he'll just be like he's like my precious. Like, it's so bad. And then if we take it from him, like, we have to be like, I have to go in and be like, hey, you're on something right now. I can see you're in the middle of something. What we need to do is we need to be leaving in like 2 minutes. So you have 2 more minutes on this, and whether you're done or not, we're gonna have to turn it off at that time. Okay? Are you okay with that? Are we good? Because if I go in with any of them and just be like, all right, hey, we got to turn it off. I said now, turn it off now.
Yeah.
whatever happens in their minds, like there is this like anger that comes out, and then it's just like they are so bad for a long time. We've grounded them from it. Like we've taken, hey guys, this is a consequence. You got to take, we're going to take it away. You can read, you can draw, you can do Play-Doh, you can do whatever, like you can do whatever you want, but you're not using electronics. And the initial is like, but then they do pretty well. Owen loves reading and he will read a ton, when he's not on the screen. And we need to create more structure with that, but like it's very difficult. What have you guys done like from a screen time standpoint? Like do you
I don't have the answer. I mean,
Definitely
we
not.
it's a struggle for us. I do try to, and I've talked to Sandra about this, like when, if they're on something, to do the same kind of thing, like prep them rather than come in and say prep them, be like, okay, Morrison's playing Fortnite or whatever, and he's in the middle of a round. You try to shut down a round in the middle of it, and it's a blow up. But if it's like, hey, we need to shut this off when you finish this round, this is the last one, kind of thing, that's a little bit better. But yeah, I mean, my kids are on the screens way more than they should be, and as am I.
Right.
It's a struggle.
Yeah, I'm same. I don't have any answers, but you definitely do have to go in ahead of time, be like, all right, get to a point where you can save, and we got to turn it off. Um, yeah,
I've been thinking more about like boredom. Like there's like studies, and you see, of course I see these videos on my Instagram or TikTok feed, so I'm like it's always talking about how it's really important to be bored and not to be constantly entertained. Like, oh, that's a really good point that he makes. Like, yeah, it's this next, like, oh my gosh, this is such a funny video, next thing. And so but I do think about this, and there are many times that I will like reach for my phone or something and go, you know what? No, I'm gonna be bored. I'm gonna be bored, and just try to sit in the discomfort. It's kind of like the like if you're having like if you feel bad about something like for like that, or like you have something that you need to do and you're just trying to like distract yourself from things, and it's like you need to sit in that discomfort to grow. Like that's how you grow. That's how you gain, like that's how you develop different parts of your brain, is by sitting in that. And that's like the value of like meditation and breathing exercises and different things that
You
you know
meditate?
do I on
Yeah.
occasion,
You do
not a
breathing
lot.
exercises?
I do, because I get anxious. So I'll do like when I start getting like I'll sit there and I'll do like box breathing and just like
Yeah, I'm not very good at any of that stuff. I
I'm
love
not I'm
it
not very
when I do it.
good at it.
I'm not
Yeah.
consistent with any of it.
I don't have a schedule for it, so I don't do it as much as I probably should,
I
but
don't
it's
even,
usually when it
yeah, I was gonna say, I don't even go to church once a week anymore.
yeah. Yeah. Uh,
Anyways.
so that's our parenting advice for everybody.
That's the parenting
The,
advice for everyone.
from the experts in this
the,
room.
the biggest point of that is like nobody's got to figure it out.
Yeah.
Like, so we're all kind of flying by the seat of our pants and trying to do the best we can. And yeah, there's same, you talked about, oh, and my kids they're great kids. I don't have to worry about, like, I've been really lucky. I don't have to worry about them doing things that I'd rather they not be doing, and they have plenty of
Lying to you
opportunity.
about stuff. Yeah.
yeah, and so I feel like I can trust them. It's not a trust thing, but there are little things every once in a while here and there with whether it's discipline with schoolwork or whatever, that trying to figure out how to motivate them or discipline them, like it's not easy.
Yeah,
The good
yeah,
thing is, again, talking to mom and the regrets that she has about being we all turned out okay. Like,
so good. I mean,
I feel like we
right?
turned out pretty good. Like,
I mean,
and we're
I
relatively
mean,
normal.
the three of
Like,
us out of five is pretty good. Yeah.
the ones that could make it on this episode of the podcast and can defend themselves
Absolutely.
and make themselves sound great, then yes. But the others
yeah, no,
don't even
but
do
like,
Chad.
I don't feel like I have childhood trauma that I have to
Yeah,
deal with,
Yeah.
and
we had,
so
yeah,
yeah.
we had a wonderful. I don't anything that I have from a trauma standpoint wasn't because of my parents. Like any traumatic experience that I had wasn't my parents. The bullying that I experienced obviously wasn't my parents. Like the scrupulosity that I experienced in the church as a kid, like not understanding, like not being able to get over like perfectionism, like this idea that I had to be perfect and not fully understanding that side of things. Like that wasn't them. In fact, they were usually like, Jason, you're okay. Like you can have a drink of this soda. And I'm like, I cannot drink the caffeine, for it is of the devil. And like that was not them. That was me, and that was a culture of things that I latched on to certain things, and in within within the church, that it wasn't even necessarily like that the church was like really like driving it home at the time. It was just that once I got any idea that something was in any way wrong, I would beat myself up for doing it or thinking about it. So, um, yeah, like you're right. Like our and we all have really good relationships with our parents. Like I talk to mom and dad all the time, and and mom is always talking about like how bad she feels for the things, and I'm like, Mom, we all feel like we had a great childhood. None of
Right.
us are going like, well, none of us. I mean, maybe, I know Chad did. Chad didn't have any consequences for anything anyways, because he was like,
The
"Oh, I'm the
baby.
youngest. Like, I'm the baby. I'm super cute." And like he like goes around doing a bunch of stuff or whatever in high school and gets caught and grounded, and then he'd like sit on the couch with mom and dad. So what are we doing? You guys want to watch a movie? Or and they're like, "You're grounded." They're like, he's like, "Yeah. I mean, so I'm here with you guys, right? You guys want to play a game, or what do you want to do?" And they're just like, this consequence is not having the impact that we had hoped it would have, because he was just totally fine with it. And they also, from a consequence standpoint, didn't. They were different people, like, and that's how we all experienced. Like Kyle and I had very similar experiences. I didn't get punished for things because I never did anything wrong. I
I
also
think
just
that's the
like
same
saw
with me.
Kyle getting in trouble all the time. Yeah, you didn't do anything wrong because Tanner was always in trouble and getting punished. And Chad did stuff, but it was just like, that's Chad, don't worry. He
By
was
then
so,
they'd given up on parenting. So,
Yeah, they were.
yeah.
We wore them down, and they just were like, okay, yeah,
Or they also just matured in recognizing that, like, you don't, you, like a punishment, like Kyle was talking about earlier, a punishment, there are consequences that are going to occur. That's not, that's not, it's not the punishment needs to serve a purpose. Like you don't just punish and create a consequence and then stick to it because we need to be firm and have this consequence. you just have to talk to your kids and be like, hey, this is messed up. Like we have a trust gap now, and you have to earn that trust back. And I really need you to recognize that. I'm disappointed in you. Like
That
them
was
just recognizing I'm so disappointed.
when when Morrison called and was telling me about the car. He's like, "So are you mad or disappointed?" And I was like, "Oh no, I'm pissed."
Can we go with both?
I'm
Yeah.
talking to people at work, and they're like, "Is he okay? Okay? Oh, he is for now. Wait till I get home. I'm about to kill him." But obviously, that didn't happen. But
Still alive
uh,
and well.
Thank you for clarifying that, everyone. Kyle did not murder his child.
I didn't
All
even hit him.
17 of you that are actually me watching the same episode 17 times. Kyle did not murder his child. Um, Anyways, I know it's getting late, Jared.
Yeah.
Like there, it's almost 10 o'clock, right? Your two
Yeah.
I think
hours.
we're 52
Um,
minutes into this, and I feel like my internet keeps telling me it's
Yeah.
reconnecting. So, what percent are you guys at? I'm seeing Jason at 99, Jared at 71. I don't see my
Kyle, it shows
percentage.
you 100%
Oh,
uploaded, and Jared is showing
I don't
71,
know what
but
you're talking
it's
about.
fine. There's an upload speed for the
Right.
podcast, which I'm gonna definitely leave this part in to the podcast
Absolutely.
because to
Yeah.
all our viewers, it's
yeah.
very
So they
important that
understand
they
the
understand
logistics
that.
behind all of this.
There's a lot
So
of
much work goes
technology
into
that
it.
goes. There's so much in the background
So
of
much.
All our
happens.
people, supporting us, the
Producers
whole
and
team.
everything.
This is high
Cool.
quality stuff.
All right.
Thanks, guys. It's been
All right.
good. Thanks for
Are we
getting on. Thanks for listening.
are we signing off from
Do we have a
the
sign
three of
off?
the Poulter Boys? I don't think we do, and I don't even like we didn't really talk about the title of our podcast again. And I don't even remember the options that we went over. That's how long it's been since this
It's
isn't
been
a
4 months.
podcast. These are random times we record our conversations. That
Yeah.
could be the title of the podcast. Random
Random
times
times we
we've
recorded our
recorded our
conversation.
conversations.
Bingo.
All right.
I like it.
Signing off from Random Times We Record This Conversation. All right. Sign. Ending.